Hello and welcome. My name's Anand, and today I'm going to share the fourth element of inner richness, and that is playfulness. So I'm going to bring a bit of playfulness energy into today's video. If you're new to this channel, I'm an emotional wellness coach, and I support those weighed down with inner struggles so that they can uncover their inner richness. And I wanted to be able to tease out what is inner richness and what's its components, what's its elements. So you'll see a link to all the previous ones. We started with courage, authenticity, last week creativity, and today is playfulness. So again, going to look at what it is, how it is in daily life, what blocks it, and how can you bring more playfulness. And sometimes for me, I think it's really helpful to look at what is the opposite of something. And it's not hard to figure that one out. Seriousness. Seriousness is the opposite to playfulness. And if you were to think about seriousness, if you were to put a colour on it, what colour would you put on it? Or what shape or what sensation or feeling would you put on to seriousness? And then what colour, shape, feeling, whatever would you put on playfulness? When I do this, playfulness is multicoloured. It's pink, purple, yellow, orange, blue. It's like, it's this. It's joyful, it's light, it's bubbly, it's fun. It's very light. And then seriousness is a bit grey, a bit beige. Grey, heavy, rigid, controlled, have to do it a specific way. No openness, closed. So it's like this. This is like seriousness. Playfulness is very open, expressive, expansive. And if you were to apply seriousness with creativity, it won't happen. If you apply playfulness with creativity, something happens, some energy happens, some flow happens. And that's why I kind of wanted to follow on from creativity with playfulness. So when we think of playfulness, everyone immediately thinks of children. And, that it's only children who play. But yet there's something in us that has this secret yearning. I don't know if you're all like me, that you see a kid's playground and you so want to go on and play on it. Well, I do anyway. And I have occasionally done it. I've gone on a roundabout or whatnot. Because I'm like, why do all the kids get the fun? But that's maybe as adults we like comedians because they bring a playful energy. They bring jokes, they bring humour, they bring lightness to the seriousness of everyday life, of work, of career, of running homes, of whatever. That gets very, very heavy, very intense. And if we don't have playfulness, life just feels like a drudgery. It just feels like repeat, rinse, recycle, same shit, different day. Without playfulness, it feels like that. So how can you bring playfulness into your daily life? Or what does it look like as maybe a good starting point? You don't have to go and play in playgrounds or, go see comedians all the time. You can bring a playful energy into your daily life. Perhaps for you it might be putting on music while you're making a meal, or going dancing, or going to activities. But if money is a barrier or some other reason is a barrier, you can bring playfulness into your daily life. Whether it's reading something lighthearted or I'm just trying to think something else playful. presenting food in a playful way, or listening to birds chatter. That can be very playful. Watching nature is an amazing inspiration for bringing playfulness into your life. Looking at the shapes of flowers and plants, if you really see them, some of them are really oddly shaped. But what it is it's approaching something in an open, expansive way. Not a, I must do this, I should do this. Again, that's seriousness. And actually, most of us are very much conditioned into being serious. You know, the light-hearted playfulness is for children only. Don't laugh too much. You know, don't be too silly. Don't be too... But here's an interesting thing. Some of the greatest plays, or plays mainly, they have a fool in those plays. Why do you think there's a fool? And often that fool can come out and say the wisest of things. My feeling is, or my thinking around it is that the fool is there to remind us that in non-seriousness, in playfulness, wisdom and a knowing can arise within you. And that's why I've included it as one of the elements of inner richness. Because either way, I'll give another example of daily life before I go into my thought. When I'm driving my car on the road, I do a daily commute 3 times a week, where I go to very heavy traffic, lots of roundabouts, lots of snarling cars. So I could go on the road and fight the traffic and fight my way through into roundabouts or fight my way through into whatever. Or I can bring a playful energy and play the car game. So the car game is, it's almost like a Tetris with cars. And I sometimes think I'm going to allow a couple of cars in front of me to pass through. And you might be thinking, no way, don't do that. You'll never get to your destination, or you'll get really delayed. The weird thing is, every time I play this game, somebody else allows me out, or they allow other people out, and there's a flow happens much easier in the traffic. It's quite something. So that's an example of where you can bring a playful energy into a commute. Or if you're on the train, you know, again, there can be maybe people watching in a playful way. Can be something you can do. So the thing that can get in the way of playfulness and is the conditioning that we have. That you're meant to be very serious, that life is a drudgery, that there's so much terrible things going on in the world. How can you be playful when there's wars going on? People are starving, people are sick, people are this, people are that. And sure, you can take on all of that weight on if you wish. But can you actually change any of those things? Can you actually change them? All the wars, all the terrible things that you hear on the news. And does it serve a purpose to be going around almost like as if you're punishing yourself for having some nice aspects in your life, for feeling guilty, oh, I don't deserve this, so I can't show my playfulness, I can't show my lightheartedness. I have this really strong image in my head of someone self-flagellating, you know, penance for the world's sins. And if you're like me, you've come from a Christian background that is very conditioning about, you know, servitude and the world is suffering, and that when you die you'll go to heaven and there you can have your bliss and your playfulness and all of that stuff. Why wait? Why wait? Because do you actually know there's a heaven? A place above in the sky somewhere? Perhaps there is, perhaps there isn't. Don't actually know. But what I do know is I have this time in this earth, and I can't change what's happening in the world. I don't think any of us can. But if you bring a lightness and a playfulness energy to everything you do, it has a ripple effect. Like when I said about the cars. If I let one car out, that person is saying, thank you. Or they might have an energy of, idiot, I'm getting in there. Doesn't matter. The outcome doesn't matter. It's the joy of just allowing someone to go ahead, the playfulness. 9 times out of 10, the other cars let another car out, and it's this lovely ripple effect. That's one example. Or if you're playful with your children, getting into that playful energy with children brings a lightness and fun between both of you. You get to understand the child better, or your child, or your niece, or your nephew, or I love watching children play. I love their energy. I love feeling it and following that life is a Leela. Osho often talks about that. Life is a Leela. In India, they use this word that life is play. So conditioning, this deep conditioning into being serious, to suffering, to how dare I attempt to be playful, is a really big barrier for you to get into it. So what can you do to bring a playfulness? Well, the first thing is to reframe. Reframe the way you look at things. See where the seriousness comes from. Is it that religious conditioning? Or is it family conditioning or some other type of conditioning? How deep and rooted is it? Do you carry guilt about having a good life? I've met people who feel guilty about having a good life. And what does this self-imposed penance serve? Does it make a difference to the sadness and the pain in the world? Because if it doesn't make a difference, you're wasting your time. And then look at or invite more things that bring you joy naturally. So not the passive, addicting things that give you an instant hit, but natural highs. For me, it's gardening. I get a massive natural high when I'm really out in the garden doing some physical work or doing a creative act. That brings playfulness. They're almost like bedfellows. That brings lightness, joy. Or, taking the courage to challenge the seriousness. These are just 3 ways that you can bring more playfulness. Looking for what's natural. Looking for what is good, not the instant quick hit feel good thing. Challenging the conditioning, reframing the thinking. So until next week, have a really playful week. Bring in a bit of silliness and see where it takes you. And if you want to let me know how you get on, I'd love to hear it. Bye-bye and have a lovely day.